You ever wonder what a redneck would look like or sound like if he had the opinions of Steve Shives?
And also, look, for the record, I believe Dr. Ford and Kavanaugh strikes me as a entitled, rich, white lizard asshole who, for the first time in his life, is being faced with the possibility of not getting a thing that he wants and is not handling it well.
Well, we found one. And this one's gonna be a doozy. Hey everybody, and welcome back. So I'm legitimately recording this for the second time because this video just pisses me off in a way that I can't describe. Like, it is literally the most infuriating video that I have ever covered on this channel. So I'm not going to waste too much time on an intro. I'm just going to get into it because, well, you'll see why it pissed me off as we go through it.
Corn dog.
Probably should edit that out.
Hey y'all, a little bit different from the other videos because I wasn't trying to make a bunch of sexual assault jokes or whatever, but I did want to give some thoughts I've had on this whole Kavanaugh thing. Like most of us, I've been keeping up with this shit show.
Watching the 4 angry old men on The View every morning doesn't count.
And also, I watch The View every time it comes on.
And I keep being reminded of this other public selection process that I took an interest in last year. It was also for a very sacred position whose importance cannot be overstated.
America's Next Top Model?
University of Tennessee head football coach.
Now, you would think that this might be just a classic old redneck joke, like, because of how much we all love football and shit like that, but nope.
And, no, but seriously, obviously the things are different, but I do think there's some parallels, so hear me out.
Go on.
Last year when Tennessee underwent its traditional triennial coaching search, news leaked one morning that a candidate had been selected for the position.
Now, the candidate that they selected was Coach Greg Schiano. Schiano has coached everything from high school football to college football to the NFL, and is currently coaching at Ohio State.
And that particular candidate had been implicated, and only implicated, in the infamous Jerry Sandusky child molestation case.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Jerry Sandusky molested a bunch of boys while he was a football coach at Pennsylvania State University. He was tried and convicted for his crimes, and he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. I will leave a link in the description to a documentary about this if you're interested. Now, the controversy around Greg Schiano is somebody testified that he heard from somebody else that Greg Schiano may have witnessed Jerry Sandusky doing something to a boy in the locker room, and then went and told somebody else about it. Greg Schiano denied that this ever happened, and there is no proof that this conversation ever took place. He also denied any knowledge of any of Sandusky's activities when they worked together from 1990 to 1995.
So when that came out, Vol Nation, you boy included, collectively lost our big orange shit over it.
Well, you may want to see a doctor for that, my friend.
Which is weird because normally SEC fans are known for their level-headed and measured responses to things, but not this time, buddy. No, this time we took Twitter by storm, expressing our outrage, our indignation. We were incensed at the very notion that a person who was associated, however tangentially, with the most heinous case in the history of American sports would ever even be considered for the new face of our program.
So, you better not have known Jerry Sandusky, better not have worked with Jerry Sandusky, better not have passed him in the grocery store, better not have passed him on the interstate, you better not have lived in the same town, hell, you better not have lived in the same state or the same country, because then you was involved in his heinous crime. Jokes aside, Jerry Sandusky deserves to burn in the hottest part of hell, but what you guys did to Greg Schiano, based on a rumor that had no proof to back it up, was fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And they didn't hire him. They took the offer back. They ended up hiring another guy.
In other words, University of Tennessee pulled their offer for him to be their head coach because somebody heard from somebody that he may have seen something, despite the fact that there was no proof of this and that he denied it outright. They also conveniently left out the fact that when they gave him this offer, he was working for Ohio State University as their football coach. They had also heard about these allegations, in hearing about these allegations, they did an investigation, and they found no evidence of wrongdoing. University of Tennessee didn't investigate, didn't question him about it, they didn't do nothing. They just pulled the offer because of backlash.
And sports media collectively applauded the fan base's efforts. They looked at us and said, now those are truly some prescient and resolute hillbillies.
No.
No, I'm kidding. We got fucking crucified for it.
Good, you fucking should have. You drug this guy's name through the mud based on nothing more than allegations and rumors.
In the days that followed, all these different old white men who were members of the same good old boys club that coach was.
What the fuck does their age and skin color have to do with this fucking argument? I could go through this entire video and debunk every single one of your points without bringing up the fact that you're white as well, excluding this point when I'm bringing it up to prove that you're a fucking hypocrite.
Went on ESPN to talk about how the Vol fan base should be ashamed of ourselves for engaging in this witch hunt, dragging a good man's name through the mud over nothing more than mere allegations that were never proven. Who did we think we are? Did we have no shame? Well, I'll say the same thing now that I said then. Fuck him and fuck y'all too.
I'm fucking Jerry Coyne. I'm fucking Daniel Dennett. Fuck you too, buddy. I'm fucking my buddies. I'm fucking neo-Nazis. I'm fucking all the white male atheist big shots. I'm fucking white guys, assholes. I'm fucking you up your own ass. You fucking dipshit.
Yep, just like I said, Redneck Steve Shives.
We were never saying that he should be thrown in prison or have his children taken away or whatever. We were just saying that he should not be hired for the most highly scrutinized and heavily compensated public position in the state. Saying that someone shouldn't get a job they really want is not the same thing as calling for their head.
Let's hear that one more time.
Saying that someone shouldn't get a job they really want is not the same thing as calling for their head.
We will come back to that.
And the same shit applies here, okay? Because look, if you own a business and you're hiring a new accountant and you take your leading candidate's name and you Google it and you find out they were accused but never convicted of some nasty shit, you're going to scratch their name off and go to the next person on the list every fucking time. Anybody that says otherwise is full of shit.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Alright, there's a lot of stupid to debunk in that statement, but before I can debunk it, I need to show you all videos from my friends Sinatra Says and Weebo Jones. I'm only taking a couple clips, but I will link the full videos in the description. Please go check those videos out. They're very important, and people need to be aware that this shit actually happens. Also, please subscribe to Sinatra Says and Weebo Jones if you have not already. They are great content creators, and you will not be disappointed. But anyway, let's get into their videos.
One of the most important things that people deny is that false accusations exist and happen, and that false accusations have a negative effect. We know, people who are normal viewers of my content know that this is true, that it can be devastating and destroy your life. The motivations for false accusations are wide-ranging. Usually it's a vindictive woman, but in this case, this is a little bit different, and probably one of the craziest stories I've ever read. High school clique of 5, quote, mean girls, unquote, are sued for targeting a boy with false sexual assault allegations because they, quote, just don't like him. A clique of 5 girls falsely accused a teenage boy of sexual assault in Pittsburgh. His parents are suing the mean girls of Seneca Valley Heights for damage. The unnamed boy was fired from his job and served time in juvenile detention. The girls later admitted to making up the allegations because they, quote, don't like him, unquote. Their son, referred to in the lawsuit as TF, was fired from his job at a local pool, forced to serve time in a juvenile detention facility, and is now homeschooled and suffers psychological trauma after the teenage girls bullied him and later admitted to lying about their sexual assault claims. Ah, yes, the Me Too movement, women's empowerment, where nothing but a false accusation strips a young boy of high school age of his job and puts him in jail and ruins his little life. Is that it, hardcore leftists? Nothing more empowering than ruining someone's life for no reason other than you can. To all the people that say this stuff doesn't happen, you're a fool. you're an absolute moron, and you're an asshole. Again, that's for a select few people who claim that, nah, it's no big deal. And calling out false accusations don't make you a rape apologist, you psychopath.
Boy, 13, arrested, cuffed, and dragged from school over #MeToo allegations. In a scene from #MeToo Meets the Crucible, 4 female students have accused an 8th grade boy of sexual assault after he refused to apologize for going against political correctness. It started off an ordinary day for 8th grader Keith Bailey until he was summoned by administrators into the vice principal's office at a Colorado Springs, Colorado middle school. He was confused and shaken. Keith had never been in trouble at school before, save for one minor incident months ago when he made an inappropriate remark that a fellow student looked like a school shooter. This time, it was much more serious. You keep making your edgy jokes, man. Don't let them get you down, even if they try to ruin you. Don't let them win by shutting you up. For over 2 hours on Wednesday afternoon, alone in her office, the vice principal grilled Keith. He said they kept asking him the same things over and over. They were just intimidating him, asking him the same thing in different ways, asking what he did to these girls and why he did it to them. Why did you do it? What did you do? When did you do it? Keith's father, Dennis Bailey, says they were vague the whole time. They never asked anything specific. Only after the 2-hour inquisition did the school phone Keith's parents to let them know he was being suspended. But before they did that, they called the police. By the time Keith's father showed up at the school, his son was being cuffed and put into the back of a police car as a crowd of students stood by, ogling the scene. The Baileys asked that I not publish the name of the school or the arresting officer. This is how you would seek to treat a child that has no fucking clue what's going on, like a criminal? Interrogating him without the supervision of his parents, calling the police on him before you've even notified his parents, having a 13 to 14-year-old child cuffed and escorted into a police car at school for all his peers to see before his parents can even arrive on the scene. Do you know how terrifying it is to have the police show up at your school and to have it be for you whether or not you're the one in trouble or not? Having your parents and the police show up at school at such a young age is terrifying. Jesus. And all because people made mere accusations of guilt? Are you kidding me? This is the time that we're living in, the world that we're living in, the thing that we have created. It's a monster, grotesque and ugly in nature, rearing its annoying ass head at any mere hint of accusation, at any mere smell of it. This is what it has come to. This is what happens when you let people think that they can use the system to ruin people that they don't like or agree with. But we're getting to that. We're getting to that. According to Keith and his family, it all started a week ago when Keith and his friends were sitting around his house thinking about online anonymity. Keith decided to change his Snapchat avatar into a black Bitmoji character. One of his friends, a girl, immediately noticed and within minutes told him he needed to change it back. She said it was insensitive and racist for a white person to use a black character as an avatar. Keith, stubborn as any 8th grader, laughed it off and said he wasn't going to change it. The next day at school, the girl, according to Keith, then started telling everyone he was racist. The harassment and accusations persisted for days. Other students began threatening to beat up Keith, saying they were going to jump him after school for being racist. Then the girl and 3 other female classmates took it to the next level. Appearing to take a page from the Feinstein handbook on how to destroy your political enemies, they appeared before the vice principal to accuse Keith of sexual harassment and assault stemming back to the summer. So a case of he said, she said. In this case, actually, it's he said, she said, she said, she said, she said, that resulted in a kid being taken away to the slammer to answer for his alleged crimes that were thus far unproved. And they tell me we live in a rape culture! Fuck that!
Alright, Trae. So, first you said
saying that someone shouldn't get a job they really want is not the same thing as calling for their head.
But then you went on to say,
if you own a business and you're hiring a new accountant and you take your leading candidate's name and you Google it and you find out they were accused but never convicted of some nasty shit, you're going to scratch their name off and go to the next person on the list every fucking time.
So now let's apply your logic. And for sake of argument, we're going to say that them 2 boys are applying to be my accountant. Now, if I simply Google their names, I will see that they were accused of sexually assaulting multiple girls back in high school. And by your logic, I would just throw their applications to the side without a second thought. Now, an accountant is a basic middle-class job. And if everybody thought like you, These boys would not be able to live a normal life because they would be overshadowed by the accusations of a bunch of skanks that wanted to accuse them for no other reason than they were pissed off at these guys for existing. How is that not the same as calling for their head? Applying the logic of taking away jobs because of simple sexual assault allegations prevents them from living any type of normal life and is basically the same thing as calling for their head. And then you go on to say,
okay, and that may not be entirely fair all the time, but that's the way it fucking is, okay?
and I want to know why you're okay with that being
just the way it fucking is.
Just because that's the way it is doesn't make it right. And I'm 100% certain that you would be singing a very different song if you were the one that was falsely accused of sexual assault and were looking at having your life destroyed based on an allegation alone.
But now we're the assholes for applying the same logic to a position on the highest court in the land? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, Trey, you guys are the assholes for applying that logic in the fucking first place.
Dude, you can miss out on a job you want because you accidentally say the wrong thing about the interviewer's favorite boy band.
Well, aside from the fact that I don't really want to work for any boss that listens to boy bands, that's not the same fucking thing.
But when it comes to a position as a Supreme Court justice, 4 rape allegations and counting shouldn't factor in?
Nobody said that the sexual assault allegations shouldn't be factored in. We are saying that he should be presumed innocent of those charges until he is proven guilty. Denying him the seat based on allegations alone is a dangerous fucking road that I don't want to go down.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm very fucking serious.
It's just, like, these are the same motherfuckers that wouldn't hire Merrick Garland for the same job for literally no given reason.
The reason they didn't consider Merrick Garland is because the seat opened up during an election year, and the Senate wanted to give the seat to the next coming president. And for the record, at the time, they thought Hillary was going to win, so you can't say that this was a Republican plot to try and give the nomination to Trump.
But we're out of line for saying that this should at least be investigated first.
You're not out of line for asking for an investigation, you're just stupid, because there's nothing to fucking investigate. As evidenced by the fact that they did an investigation after Jeff Flake decided to flake, and they didn't find shit.
It blows my mind. And also, look, for the record, I believe Dr. Ford.
Well, imagine my shock.
Well, if you believe her, despite the overwhelming lack of evidence that she has brought forth, then why the hell are you pushing for an investigation? You've basically already made up your mind, so you're basically just contradicting yourself again.
And Kavanaugh strikes me as a entitled, rich, white lizard asshole.
I'm not questioning that Dr. Ford may have been sexually assaulted by some person in some place at some time.
Entitled, rich, white lizard asshole.
I intend no ill will to Dr. Ford and her family.
Rich, white lizard asshole.
The other night, Ashley and my daughter Liza said their prayers. And little Liza, all of 10 years old, said to Ashley, we should pray for the woman. It's a lot of wisdom from a 10-year-old.
Lizard asshole.
We mean no ill will.
And Kavanaugh strikes me as a entitled, rich, white lizard asshole who, for the first time in his life, is being faced with the possibility of not getting a thing that he wants and is not handling it well.
Shut your fucking mouth! No problem, John. Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
The nomination to the Supreme Court of the United States should have been the best moment of his life. This should have been the proudest moment for his wife, his daughters, and his parents. Instead, he was met with opposition from the Democratic Party from day one for no other reason than Donald Trump picked him. His name was dragged through the mud by the leftist media, assholes like you and the Believe Survivors dickheads who believe in guilty until proven innocent when men are accused of sexual assault, and who deny that women can lie. He has possibly lost the ability to ever teach law again, and he may have also lost the ability to coach his daughters in basketball, which is quality father-daughter time that he lost on. So how the fuck is that a spoiled white guy not handling getting a job? How the fuck is that some spoiled rich white guy just not getting what he wants? That is a smear campaign, and you are either a fucking idiot who didn't actually pay attention to what happened, or you hate conservatives enough that you have no sympathy for what this guy went through. And the coaching his daughters part is one of the things that definitely got under my skin, because I can tell you, if I had lost out time with my daughter like that because of a bullshit allegation that wasn't proven, I would have been way more livid than he was when he went to court. All things considered, he was pretty calm.
Because, by the way, not for nothing, but in my opinion, his inability to keep his fucking shit together any better than he did while testifying about it today, that's reason enough by itself to not give him this job.
Shut up, you fucking idiot.
That's how important the job is.
Yeah, well, I don't think you would have done any better had you gone through what he went through. And don't try to claim that you would.
That's how high the standard should be.
Alrighty, well, let's type that down. If you are a Supreme Court nominee, you are not allowed to show emotion. You can't spell. When you have to testify in front of the Senate, when half of that Senate conspired to ruin your life with false sexual... Actually, I'm not going to say false. Weaponized sexual assault allegations. There you go.
But yeah, we're the assholes here.
Yeah, you quite literally are. You have absolutely no sympathy for what this guy went through, and you're completely blind to an obvious hit job from the Democratic senators.
Fucking whatever. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and it's almost definitely gonna be shitty, so it is what it is, but that don't make us wrong. Alright? Hang in there.
It makes you wrong in the most literal sense of the word. And I'm going to conclude by asking you a question. What if that happened to you? Now, whether it was a vindictive skank from high school that's pissed off that you broke her heart, or if it's some woman who mistakenly thought you sexually assaulted her when you know for a fact that you did not do it, regardless of which one of those happened, if you were accused of sexual assault and you knew damn well that you did not do it, would you just roll over, play dead, and be okay with this guilty until proven innocent bullshit? Would you be okay with losing your YouTube channel because of it? Would you be okay with never being invited on another comedy tour because of it? Because I know you're a stand-up comedian. Would you be okay with losing precious time with your kids because of this? Would you be okay with anything that happened to Kavanaugh happening to you? And no, you're not allowed to strawman that by saying, well, I would have conducted myself better. If everything happened to you exactly as it happened to Kavanaugh, would you be okay with it, or would you be demanding a fair process to defend your name against allegations that you knew damn well were false? If you said no, that you would not be okay with it happening to you, then maybe you should come back out and change your stance on this video and maybe start promoting innocent until proven guilty. Just some food for thought. But anyway, everybody, that is going to wrap up this video. If you like what I do here, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new to this channel. I'm coming out with a series of Kavanaugh, and I do videos like this as much as I possibly can. I try to go for weekly. You can follow me on Twitter at hey_dude77. But until next time, catch y'all later.